Hello, and welcome to A Pair of Dice Lost podcasting channel. My name is Brendan. My pronouns are he, him. And today I am joined by...
Hey there, guys. My name is Tyler. Pronouns are he, him. I'm going to be playing Riki, the fire-aspected street exorcist.
Hi, everybody. My name's Christina. I will be playing Ellion. My pronouns are she, her, and Ellion's pronouns are they, them. They are a water-aspected investigator.
Hi, everyone. My name's Cody. Pronouns are he, they, and I play Devine, the air-aspected shady businessman.
Hi, my name is Britt, and I play Fairus. My pronouns are she, her, as well as Fairus's. She is a wood-aspected dragon-blooded who has a familiar named Zeke, who is a ferret, and she's kind of a performer, petty theft.
And this is Exalted, like a dragon-blooded. Last time on Like a Dragon-Blooded, the guys went off and did things, as did Ellion. So about 3 days have passed before the current time frame. So I have a question for Fairus. How would you like to spend 3 days of downtime, essentially? Are there any fun things you'd like to do? Any NPCs you'd like to interact with?
I guess I would just kind of hang out and maybe look into the family's affairs to see if there's anything worth important pertaining to me and the group that we could probably build off of or something.
Okay. So when you say the family's affairs, do you mean specifically, do you want to look into anything internal or external?
Probably internal.
Okay. So as far as internal affairs go with the family, you do have a pretty big knowledge source to pull from that isn't Devine, considering that your older brother is in town. He obviously doesn't know everything that goes on, but he does have a pretty good idea, big picture-wise, of where that you could start or anything that might be of interest to you. So, Fairus, you go to meet with your brother, Resh Balar. Where do you meet him at? Do you just meet him at a random shop, or do you have a preferred hangout in town now that you've been here for about 2 weeks?
Honestly, I feel like our preferred hangout is Minami's place.
All right, the Desert Basilisk, a classic for hangouts for crime families. It also helps that, at least one of the families owns this place. So you sit down with your brother and are enjoying on his or your dime. It doesn't really matter. It all goes to the same place, really. But you all are enjoying a nice lunch. The Desert Basilisk serves all manners of food, but some of their more famous things are specific cuts of desert animals, like meat-wise. What kind of food would Fairus be eating for lunch?
I never really thought about it, but probably more I don't want to say full-on vegetarian, but definitely more vegetarian with a little bit of meat here and there. I mean, fish or the occasional animal that they kill just to have food-wise, but I think she would focus primarily on vegetarian type dishes. So noodles and salads and fruits and veggies.
Okay, so then you probably have a nice sized bowl of noodles with a few choice cuts of fish. You guys are in a port city, so fish is a pretty common staple of everyone's diet here. Sitting next to you at the little bar at Minami's place is your brother, who is chowing down on a hearty Yedam's steak and just kind of tearing into it. Okay, so we're gonna do... Okay, give me just a second. Oh man, that hit the spot. So, you needed the lay down on what the other families are doing. So what are you going to do? Are Are you planning on doing some like internal espionage? Are you going to turn into my little internal affairs girl?
I mean, it's definitely something that's kind of interesting. I like to know what's going on, not being in the dark.
All right. Well, Minami's boss, the guy who runs this joint, they just got us a foothold out in the west, running out of a new pirate island that got discovered a couple years back. Pretty big black market trade out there, and we've got a couple new experimental drugs that the guy who runs the island's cooking up for us.
Okay, that's good to know. And is this on the hush hush, like only a need to know type basis?
The island itself, no, but the drugs, yeah. We don't want to get out to the guild that we're trying to get into the performance enhancing side of things.
So what's the cover story?
For the drugs, well, I mean, just don't let it out that we're working on them.
And if anyone asks what we're doing with the island, like why do we have that island or whatever?
Oh, we just have a foothold there. We don't have the island. What we're doing there is it's a pirate den. It's a great place to fence stolen goods.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. I'm following.
Yeah, the one of the ladies who runs the island has been my fence for about 2 decades now. As far as any other families are concerned, obviously you know that you have obviously you have the subsidiary clan, the Baronatos here, that sprung off of y'all's family. They're looking to sink their teeth into some of the newer territories that we're working on acquiring, and I heard tell that the Kajaks might be coming down this way. They're still a little sore after your matriarch sent them running with their tail between their legs out of Lookshy a couple years back. But yeah, the Kajaks left out Lookshy after they did some after their former matriarch did some shady things. So they're biting at the bit, trying to find something new to sink their teeth into.
All right, good to know.
As far as any like business opportunities, I don't know, like within the family, just being a messenger between them could be pretty lucrative, but it would take you traveling a lot more than you might like. And I know that you all have very specific things to do in this city.
All right. Besides those two things, what anything else I should know about?
Well, I mean, what are you interested in?
Anything I should worry about. Something that could cause me bigger problems later on. Just so I can kind of keep an eye out and make sure I don't run into those bigger problems. Or at least I'm prepared for them.
The bigger problems? Only real big problem I can think of is if anyone from the Gagari family shows up, just get on out of here. They're loyal, but they're also bad news. There tends to be collateral damage where they go. You know from experience and living with the family and everything is that the Gagari family is something that is not talked about lightly in public. They're kind of a rumor that you know exists. In reality, they're kind of like the assassin clan of the family.
All right, good to know. So if I know they're around, I should leave. But if they're like an assassin, it'd be very hard to know if they're around sometimes.
At least until they start swinging, then things get real. So I guess that with that out of the way, unless of course there's anything else, your brother finishes up his food, pays for the both of you, and kind of sticks his hands in his pockets and looks to you and just goes, all right then, well, I've got to get out of here. I've got a little bit more work to do prepping for people to come into the city before I leave. I'll be around if you need me.
All right. Thanks for the information, and it was good seeing you.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be around for a while. And he just kind of heads off. Britt, at this point, you would have heard or overheard from Minami that the rest of your gang is preparing for the grand opening in 3 days of a host club and iced coffee joint.
Okay.
And if there's nothing else that you would like to do with those 3 days, that is where that we're going to time skip to, because basically everybody else kind of did prep for this weird party that they're all throwing.
And by everybody else, you mean the boys did the prep for it, and Ellion just did investigating.
Ellion got us the invite list.
I don't technically know if that's true or not, but I guess. I mean, you know who to keep an eye out for and not to invite, and who might be in town. You know, like the Gregary, who there's 2 that could be in town.
Nah, you totally invite them because they're not the type of people you want to show up without an invite. That's how you become collateral damage.
So is this like a party, or like we need to dress up ish nicely, or just this is happening, be there?
It's like a grand opening press event.
If it's that kind of party, I'll get an outfit. I'm not going to invite anybody, but I'll get an outfit.
You want to be my date?
Sure.
The platonic date.
If you're going to go and dress up nice, then I have a question for you, Fairus. Who do you go to for an outfit?
I'm going to ask Minami who the best person to go to is for that, since he would know the chiaroscuro better than me.
Minami looks at you from over or from like behind the kitchen with like a bunch of like meat cooking on a grill, and he just kind of goes, "You want my actual fucking opinion, or do you want to do you want to know what I should say?"
Actual opinion.
Actual opinion is the best. Well, if you're looking to blend in with chiaroscurons, the best place to go is actually going to be one of the shops in the inner city near the Tricon's Palace. Real great place there. Going to make you blend in with the chiaroscuron natives. Now, if you want something a little bit more flashy, you know the person to go to for that.
Desert Bloom.
Ding ding! The little lady gets a prize. And he is going to slide like a piece of like chocolate cake from like across the bar to you.
I will take the chocolate cake, give him a smile. So the first option sounds better. I think blending in instead of being too flashy would be a good idea. Are you going to the party?
No, I got to run this fucking joint.
Do you want to go to the party?
I think I'll pass. It's not really my thing. Also, Riki's going to be there.
What does Riki have to do with anything?
That guy's an ass. He made me go and make a deal with an Iceman for him.
How about this? You come to the party with me, and I'll make sure Riki doesn't bother you.
He thinks about it for a moment. You do that for me? You'd intercept that schmuck for me?
Yeah, I would. Just because I also like fucking with him.
Yeah, okay. The dinner rush ain't that great anyway when Riki ain't parked Lucille out here, and that old broad's gonna be down in the undermarket anyway.
Excellent. So I will either see you there, or I can come by here and we can go there together.
I'll meet you there. I think I know the way.
All right, see you there.
So, are you going to the chiaroscuron tailor then? Or the Desert Bloom?
I'm going to go to the chiaroscuron tailor, and I don't want to get something that's like too bland. I want to get something on the nicer side of things. Definitely different, but I don't want to be boom, in your face, flashy like the boys probably are.
You go from the outer city to the inner city. Towards the Tricon's Palace, which is one of the larger skyscrapers that has been adorned with the colors of the nomadic tribe of the Delzin. There is a small building that has been built up almost right next to it. that is the building that Manami has asked you to come in to go to for your attire. Walking up to it, it has no door on it and just like open windows, which is pretty common for a desert building. You want what little wind that you can get to blow through and cool the place down. Peeking inside, you can see that most of the clothes here are very fine. They're not gaudy, but they do glitter in what sunlight comes through, and they have a nice bit of embroidery. It is very loose-fitting clothes that would. The best way that I can put it would leave little to the imagination about what your form looks like.
Okay. I'm thinking probably something similar to like Princess Jasmine from Aladdin.
Yes, very similar to that.
All right, I'm down. I'll probably ask, someone to help, and then maybe pick out something that they basically let the people do their job, outfitting people, figuring out what would look best, and then what colors would go best and stuff like that with my current colors and state, since I'm like a greenish tint with the brown bark. Okay.
So you walk in and are immediately greeted by not large like portly, but just like tall, and like kind of like beanpole thin person with a veil over their face that is adorned with multiple little accoutrements on the end. Yes, hello, come in. How are you? It's nice to see a new face in my shop. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a new outfit for a grand opening.
A grand opening, you say? Well, what is this grand opening?
A host club?
They stop, think about it for a moment. What is a host club?
It's just a nice event. I'm honestly not entirely sure what all it's about either. But a couple of friends of mine are opening it up.
Oh, well, fantastic then. We can't have you looking not the part. So they kind of walk up to you and start like sizing you up, like glancing over you with their eyes. And it's a very intimate feeling, but not in any kind of like sexual way. It's like this person is like literally like measuring you up for like the kind of clothing that they think that you would look well in.
Gotcha. Like, typical people would do. Get all up in your business to measure.
Yes, exactly. So I think that I might have a couple things in your particular size. Color doesn't matter, but what I'm more interested in, are you going to this host club grand opening to, let's say, are you trying to assert your power? Is this more of a looking for a husband kind of thing?
When they say looking for a husband, I just kind of like shake my head kind of quickly. Oh, no. Just, I don't want to look like, I don't want to blend in with the crowd, but I also don't want to be in your face. Something that's like naturally beauty, not flashy beauty.
Okay, so then we want something that's mute and, not mute, but subtle and matches your skin tone and all the other little markings on you, as opposed to having a punch in the face that makes all the men either want to bow down before you or start peacocking around you.
Yeah, it sounds about right, but I know where to go if I do want the other option.
I assure you, we can find both. You can find both here. essentially, Britt, the main difference between you going to this person is this person is going to dress you up in the chiaroscuro style, which is, again, kind of like the Princess Jasmine kind of look. Like, there's not a whole lot left to the imagination, but it is classy. Whereas if you went to Desert Bloom, it is going to be like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure level of like fashion.
Yeah, no, I definitely want the subtle princess look, not the in your face, bow down to me look.
So he goes and finds a bunch of clothes for you, hands them over, asks you to try them on. Essentially, Britt, whatever colors that you think are good that would go well with Fairus would be what that you get. The colors aren't different colors aren't hard to find, but I also am not someone who knows almost anything about fashion.
No, I got you. I'd probably pick like light purples, lavenders, maybe some like robin egg blues, stuff like that. Like pastel colors almost, but not quite full on pastel.
Okay, so you get that, and he rings you up for it. So who shall I be sending the bill to?
Ooh, the temptation to say my brother is strong. You can send the bill to Resh Balar with a note that says, "Thanks for the new outfit for the party, bro."
This person nods, and you see them scribble the name down, and then light it, and then pull out a like a tinderbox or like a match, and then lights it on fire. It's done. I'm sure that they'll get it in about 5 minutes.
Wonderful, thank you.
So, with you having acquired a dress for the grand opening, anything else you'd like to do?
No, I guess I just make my way to where I need to go and obviously get ready, and then eventually go find my my date.
Okay. So you go and get ready, and we're going to pan the camera down to the undermarket where that Amalar Devine is prepping for the grand opening with his crew of the Cordial Crane. So, Devine, tell me, how have you been helping the crew prep? I mean, obviously you've prepped by going and getting a date, but how have you helped your crew prep?
All right, so first thing, is there anybody that seems like they're reluctant to be picking up the new way of things, like doesn't want to learn how to make iced coffees or talk to somebody without trying to fuck them?
Some could say that that a host club is just a longer way of going to a brothel.
I mean, fair.
The people who remained with you, no.
Gotcha. Because if there was, I was going to use opening Mind's Gate to make them want to learn. But I guess what I'm going to focus on, because, I don't think our hosts need much teaching on how to sell their personalities. My big thing is going to be passing along the knowledge I gained of making the best iced coffee.
So, you teach them how to grind the coffee, how to make the coffee, how to let it steep or whatever, and then how to pour it over ice properly for the maximum amount of flavor profile.
Yeah. So for the maximum flavor profile, you want to cold brew your coffee. So we need the openings in how many days?
I believe that technically it's supposed to be tonight, but obviously this was the prep work that happened in the background. So let's say that you had 2 days.
Dope. So Devine kind of looks, well, he doesn't look up at the sky because they're in the undermarket. Kind of looks around, peeks around for any sun that might be peeking through, and discerns the time, and he's like,
There is sun that's peeking through, because remember, there was a hole that got blown into the undermarket.
Oh yeah, so it's really easy to see, discern that. Yeah, we should start making our cold brew now. So what you want to do is you want to put the coffee grounds in a bucket filled with ice to start, and let the ice slowly melt over the coffee. And that will give you the most mellow flavor without any of the harshness of a hot brewed coffee that is then watered down by the ice. And pretty much use my sagacious elder instruction because I don't know how cold brew works. I know it's something like that. You just put it in the refrigerator, but you don't put it on ice. To give them bonus specialties with the coffee, as long as they follow the instructions.
Now, is this a lore roll or is this a socialize roll? I mean, it's a charm, so is it under lore or social?
Yeah, it's the Sagacious Elder's instruction is a lore. Pretty much, it's when the Dragon Blood gives advice to another character and successfully rolls to introduce that fact that supports it, that character gains temporary specialty based on that advice.
Okay, so here is the deal with that. So first off, what is your intelligence?
My intelligence is 4.
Okay, so this specialty will last for 4 days for them, assuming that you're able to pull it off. Assuming that you're able to pull it off, only about 4 out of these 10 people that you have for opening night actually have any points in craft cooking. So they're the only ones who are able to actually take the specialty.
Gotcha. Which I'm teaching them how to cold brew, so that's another big thing about doing the cold brew is like those 4 can work on prepping it, and then after that it's just pouring it into a cup. It's just a cold cup.
Right, exactly. But still, I'm letting you know that you only have 4 people as opposed to 10 who can do it.
Right. Gotcha. And that roll is intelligence plus lore to introduce effect, right?
Yes, it is. I will say this is going to be a difficulty 3, which is pretty much the standard difficulty. But I'm going to give you a 2-dot stunt, which is 2 extra dice and a automatic success, because you sounded like you knew what you were talking about with the cold brew.
I actually do know what I'm talking about with cold brew, but Devine doesn't. So, I had to throw in the wrong facts. Do I get my specialty for bad advice, since it is the wrong fact?
Okay, so now I'm curious. What would you giving them the bad advice actually do?
What do you mean by that?
So if you give them wrong advice, that means that the coffee's going to be fucked up.
It means that it's not going to be the way that it's supposed to be. It's going to be different, not necessarily fucked up. Bubblegum was a fuck up. Doesn't make it bad.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that later.
Pretty much, I'm going for bad advice because, everybody knows that the way you make coffee is you brew it hot through a filter with hot water, not put it over ice and let the ice melt so that it brews slowly over time.
Okay, I see where you're coming from with this. Okay, it's like different advice. It's not necessarily bad advice, but it is way different, and people are going to give you looks for it.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give you that extra specialty dice for that.
All right, so that is 8 successes.
Okay, hot damn, Cody. So not only are you able to introduce this fact about how to make cold brew, I'm going to give the cold brew some bonuses when the actual thing opens up.
Hey.
Is there any other stuff besides the coffee stuff that you want to give people advice on?
I reckon once I've got them sufficiently trained in coffee, pretty much just socializing with the hosts to get them all loosened up and pretty much work out any pre-opening nerves.
Okay, then.
Hey, let's run this through. Talk to me like I'm one of your French girls.
So you go through and there are So, like I mentioned before, there are 10 people who are going to be opening for you. 4 of them are not on coffee duty, but they're the ones who you kind of want to keep in reserve, unless, of course, that you get super busy. So then that they can keep stuff, so they can keep prep going in the back of the house.
Right.
4 of the other 4 of the remaining 6 are about, you would say, mediocre to pretty good with the socializing thing, and then they're kind of like in a mix of range of appearances. Like, no one is like an appearance 1 with the monstrous merit, but there are some who who like, it's very obvious that like Desert Bloom's costume choice for them is what's really making them shine a little bit more. And then you have 2 people who you would probably say are like your stars. There is one younger lady named Hasula, who is a natural at talking to people and speaking with confidence and kind of doing like all the host club stuff where they try to like lead the conversation a little bit towards fun topics, but making you, the customer, feel like it's a natural thing.
Right.
And then there is I don't want to say middle-aged, but like mid-20s younger man who is by the name of Taihiro, who is like appearance 5, like just radiates beauty and everything, has like the social presence of someone who has never really had to try to talk to someone for a living.
Gotcha. So he's the one I'm going to be working on.
See, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. Hey, boy, you're real pretty. Let's teach you how to talk.
Yeah, sure thing, boss. What can I do for you?
Okay. I know you probably got a lot of nerves because it's going to be a big night. But you are the prettiest person in the room, and I need you to know that and flaunt that and sell that.
He noticeably blushes at your compliment and looks away bashfully.
Okay.
Well, boss, how about you, like, I know that you've done a lot of the training with all the ladies, but you know they're already pretty confident. Maybe you could help me.
Absolutely. That's what I kind of came over here for. Like, we need to work on your confidence. You have a bit of a stutter. Is that a speech impediment or is that nerves?
Nerves. I've never had to. Back when we were a brothel, it was just, and he kind of like flexes and like kind of like just does like the, you know, like the I only had to work with my body, not with my mouth.
We can work that to your advantage. When it was a brothel, did you ever have customers ask you to be mean to them?
Yeah, and I couldn't do it. It was too weird.
What if we pretend that your nerves are because you think you're better than everyone? It's easy for people to believe that when somebody's good looking. You don't have to talk. You just have to look good, make eye contact. And I can work with you on that one. I can teach you how to talk with just your eyes. And then look away and walk away. They'll be coming to you.
Yeah, boss, sure thing. If you want me to just talk without talking, I'm sure that I can figure out a way to do that.
What do you want to do? Because I can teach you confidence. I can get you where you need to be. Do you think we can do it in the next 2 days?
He takes a moment and looks to you and is like, "For real? Do you want me to actually answer that?"
Yeah, well, wouldn't I want you? Oh, right. Yes, I want you to always feel comfortable speaking freely to us and letting us know what your thoughts are.
I'd like to actually be able to talk to girls if I can. And guys, I'm very nervous around them.
All right, but I've got you, kid. Here's what you do. First thing, you got the pose and you got the body language. You got to believe in yourself. And I am... So, like I said, first thing first is believing in yourself. I already told you that you're the prettiest person in this room. You've got the physique, you've got the looks, you've got the charm. You've got this certain, how do they call it? A cute inexperience. And we can play to that for now. And we can't practice just me and you. We've got to go out and practice on people. So let's me and you take a walk. And I would like to pretty much walk him through the undermarket, just flirting with strangers.
All right. So you and this kid are going to just go through the undermarket and flirt with strangers.
Yeah. Like, it's like flashcards, but with people. Watch me do it. Now you do this one. I'll do this one. Now you do this one. But yeah, kind of like immersion therapy of practicing on the people that aren't going to matter before. Like, I know it's not the same, but like talking to somebody he doesn't want to talk to is easier than talking to somebody he's nervous about talking to because he wants to talk to them. So practice on people he doesn't care about.
All right. So you guys go around and start talking. Is there any way that you want to like manipulate this with charms or anything? Or is this just going to be a like, hey, my boss spent a day with me, so I'm going to have a minor intimacy of I'm going to try for my boss? Because I figured that what you're trying to do is you're trying to instill a new like emotion or intimacy in him that is more or less like maybe not self-confidence, but like my boss believes in me, so I believe in me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, because I don't have the charm to let me share flawless study focus with somebody yet. Soon.
All right.
Actually, I think that one only lets me share it with dragon blood in the party. But yeah, pretty much want to instill the intimacy of my boss believes in me, so I'm more confident.
So in that case, I'm going to say that because you're going about it in a more, you're more showing and teaching how that it's all done, I'm going to say this is going to be a charisma and socialize roll.
Dope.
And because you stuck around for the whole RP and everything, I'm going to count that as a 2-dot stunt as well.
Dope. And because we're doing it with Chiaroscurans, I've got that specialty. And then I'm going to use 6 motes. So I'm going to use 6 motes for 3 more auto successes.
Okay.
So 10 successes.
Blowing this child's entire resolve pool out of his entire asshole, you have instilled a minor positive principle of my boss believes in me, so I believe in me. Or my boss's confidence is my confidence.
Good enough for me.
Which means that essentially, so long as that you're being confident around him, he will kind of emulate that. But the moment that you start deflating, he also will start deflating.
Dope.
And obviously, if this continues to be a lucrative business relationship, at some point you can try to influence him to increase that intimacy from minor to major level, or maybe even change it to being his own confidence.
Yes. Yes. I will build this boy into a man.
Yes, you destroyed that man's entire resolve pool of 2.
Yeah. I just had to make sure, if I didn't spend that I would have botched that, right? Because that's how those rolls work.
Yeah, I know. And I assume that you got that from your personal pool.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't think a well-bred dragon-blooded starting to light up is going to really boost his confidence that he, as a normal person, can have that same confidence.
Right. All right, then. So you go and do that. Is there anything else that you would like to do in preparation for this?
No, I think that pretty much sums up what my thoughts on it are. I got the flyers in a high-traffic place, got my date set up, got the coffee in order, got everybody good to go for socializing. I'm just going to be writing my speech for opening night.
Devine, you are in charge of opening ceremonies. Would you like to tell me how that goes?
Yes. As a crowd of people gather in front of the Cordial crane, the doors and windows are all closed. There's not a single light peeking out. The entire building has had a hasty but much needed makeover. And just as a hush falls over the crowd, the door to the business opens. And out steps Devine wearing classic look shy and finery with his date for the night, Ellion, escorted on his arm. And the two of them are flanked on either side by Hasula and Tahiro. Stepping out in front of the crowd, Devine clears his throat and begins to glow as he speaks to the crowd. I want to use 6 motes out of my peripheral pool to, that way it makes my anima glow as I address the crowd. Yes, I'm using that on my loquacious courtier technique.
Okay. And
to add successes to my socialize roll.
Okay.
Flanked on either side, dressed in their uniforms made by Desert Bloom, are the 2 top performers, Hasula and Tahiro. And Devine begins to glow as he addresses the crowd with a confident, almost booming voice. Heathens, sheathens, and theythens, commoners and cons alike, welcome to the Cordial Crane, home of Chiaroscuro's finest company and cold coffee. Who among us hasn't dreamed of the day they could be doted on by a familiar face, enjoying that bittersweet taste, the greatest refinement you can find? There is no other place in creation where you can fall in love with our dear Hasula here, or be shown by the world by our own hero, Tahiro. Without any further ado, I welcome you all to the grand opening of the Cordial Crane. And then he stretches his arms out and steps aside.
All right, then. Well, I guess in that case, I'll give you, since that was really well done, I'm going to give you a 3-dot stunt for that. If you had any lost willpower, you can take a point back for that. With that in mind, did you want to make that charisma and socialize roll?
Yeah, to pretty much build everybody's hype and instill that.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me tell you how much you're going to be rolling. Since you're going to be rolling to socialize with a large group of people, it is at a -3 penalty.
Yeah, so that just cancels out the 3 successes that I got. No, because it's -3 dice, not successes.
Yeah, it's -3 dice, not -3.
Yeah.
No, it is actually penalties like that are actually counted on successes, not dice.
Gotcha. So that'll just cancel out the charm.
Right. So that'll cancel out the charm. You then get the one from the stunt, and if you wanted to, you could use a point of willpower that will be automatically brought back to you for an extra success.
Yeah, I'll do that. So that's 2 successes. And then rolling the same amount of dice as a 2-die stunt gets you.
Yep.
So that's 10 successes.
Hot damn, buddy. What do you want to do with this roll? Didn't think that far ahead, did you?
Nah, I really just wanted to glow. It was more for the fanfare. Instill a minor intimacy of customer loyalty. Repeat patronship.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Or diminish any
intimacies?
Yeah, diminish any intimacies that would prevent them from spending money or having fun.
Tell you what. I'm gonna put this in the bank as something to be used for, because like it's so hard to like say that you would give them like repeat customership when you've never tasted their stuff. Like for all that you know, like some of the people coming in, iced coffee just isn't for them, because there is a part of the system where it just goes, oh, they can just spend willpower and deny things.
Right.
So what that I think that this should do is those 10 successes I'm going to bank for you, and throughout the night, if at any point you get you want to throw some extra successes at it, I'll just let you. And you can even use that towards any roles that any social roles that any of your compatriots make as well, that you're there for the scene with as well.
I dig that.
It's not technically how the system's supposed to work, but again, like, since no one's actually tried your stuff and this is a wholly new concept to the area, like, I feel like that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Host with the most pool.
So, with Devine and his compatriots giving their speech, the Cordial Crane is now open. Besides Devine, who is the first to arrive?
I can go next if no one else wants to go.
That sounds fantastic. So, Resh Fairus and her air quotes date, Minami, show up. Minami, as we've already discussed, that Fairus has a lavender and blue kind of chiaroscuro culture, like a very like loose silks and everything that expose a little bit more of her body than normal. We already know what that Fairus looks like coming down, but Minami has a Minami, on the other hand, dresses up. He has a the normally like unruly hair that he has been pulled back into a tight ponytail and straightened out. He is wearing a pair of slacks that are a pair of slacks and a nicely ironed white shirt that is surprisingly stained, not stained. He has dressed up simple, but it's effective in showing off his fairly well-toned physique. He doesn't look bad, but he doesn't stand out like the hosts do. The hosts, on the other hand, you can tell at a very quick glance, Fairus, that these costumes and dress options were absolutely designed by Desert Bloom. They aren't gaudy so much as they are interesting and appealing to look at. They accentuate curves where they should, and let the eye wander where it must to get the maximum value out of the people. The weird thing about this, though, from our own actual reality towards the reality that is Exalted is that the more scantily clad people the more scantily clad dressed people are the men. Like, you can see like the hip divots on them, and it's like kind of like peacocking and like teasing like the ladies a little bit, whereas the ladies are a little bit more demure, not showing as much skin. A lot of their dresses and everything more exude kind of a subtle power to it, like they're the ones who are in charge. It's like how that a scantily clad lady is sexy, but also a guy in a nice suit is sexy. It's just been reversed.
Gotcha. I'm glad I did not go with Desert Bloom then.
Oh, they would have dressed you up like you're gonna go out and step on someone.
Yeah, I didn't want that. Remember, Fairus is supposed to look very innocent, even though she will fuck you up.
Oh, I know. I thought that it would be funny you trying to talk them down from giving you an outfit like that.
I kind of played that in my head a bit, and I decided to not.
Fair enough. So Minami strolls up to you and offers his arm for you both to go and walk into the host club.
I will accept that offer and link arms, and we'll walk up to the host club.
All right, you both stroll in. Who would show up next? I assume it's going to be Ellion since Riki is late.
I guess so.
Ellion, does Ellion have a date?
I was gonna talk to you about trying to figure something out, but since I couldn't think of anything good for it, probably not.
I'm sure that there are willing suitors or just people who would love to be arm candy.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I'm just gonna come up by myself.
Fantastic. Then you're totally open. You're totally open season for the array of hosts to come and bother you.
Target acquired.
Good fucking luck.
So, walking in.
No, I could have been cheeky and invited Thanos. That was a debate. That was a hard debate.
Oh.
Do you want to? Because if you do recall, Devine did leave the flyers and everything. Oh, wait, no. Devine left it with Samir's secretary.
Yeah, but I was going to send the guys Porky the Pig's hands with an invitation.
Okay. So, my contact works for the guild. Would it be perceived as uncouth, unprofessional, or potentially we get them in trouble for them to show up here with me as somebody who obviously is against the guild and pretty much, works for a crime family and everything?
I would say yes, and also that person is married, so they wouldn't show. So they think that their partner might not enjoy that.
That's fair. I mean, it'd be a strictly platonic thing, not like an actual date, but I wouldn't want them to get in trouble any facet, so.
I mean, you're the investigator here. I'm sure that you can find a way to invite whoever you want in Chiaroscuro, minus maybe a few people.
I think I'm just going to show up alone. Like, I have different things in my head that'd be kind of funny, but I think I'm just going to show up alone.
That's absolutely fair. So what does Ellion look like showing up here?
So Ellion is wearing loose, flowy pants, kind of similar to harem pants in a way. So they've got kind of the, not sheer fabric, but very light, flowy fabric to them. They're wearing this is sheer. It's a sheer top that kind of looks like a collared shirt, but it doesn't have a collar on it. It's got a low neck, like a swoop neck on it, and the sleeves billow out and come to cuffs at the end. And underneath that sheer is a rather tight-fitting shirt that has gold detailing. I'm sorry, silver detailing, because, their skin's bluish tint to it, so I think silver would look better. Silver detailing at the shirt that's underneath, which you can see, with the little bit of a swoop neck to it, and through the sheerness of it. And they're just kind of in like whites and blacks and kind of gray neutral tones. Their hair is done back and in a braid going down their back.
Out of curiosity, on a statistical level, what is Ellion's appearance?
It's only a 2, which I think is average.
That is not to say that the clothes that Ellion has picked are average by any sense. You are certainly drawing more attention than you probably have before, but you are also surrounded by people who make this their living.
I imagine they're just kind of here to exist and support, the whole endeavor, but also keep an eye out because Devine invited some people, and I'm sure some people that we want to keep tabs on. So that's going to be my job the whole night, is just keeping eyes on people.
All right. Next up is Desert Bloom, who comes in with their usual finery, metal heels, everything like that. And on their arm is the other captain, Kathika Koki, who seems to be in a rather jovial mood and is wearing ceremonial garb that is very similar to Devine's kimono, but it has the red trimmings of his former house. While that he's not, he definitely shows pride in where that he comes from, even if he does not work for them anymore. Other people come in, members of the guild, members of other families, members of other bits of the underworld. And at some point, Riki and Moya come in.
Probably like 20 minutes after opening. Like fashionably late, but they're certainly late.
Late enough Riki didn't have to hear Devine's fucking mouth.
Had to stop for falafels on the way, get some real fucking food.
So, what does Riki look like?
I imagine Riki's outfit is very, like, classy gangster, like, there's, like, it's a lot of blacks and reds, his normal color scheme, probably, like, a dark red vest and tie with, like, black pants and, like, a tailored black overshirt, there's a couple, like, tasteful jewelry options, maybe, like a chain around his belt or, like, a couple of rings, his crazy motley mohawk that is normally, like, sticking out and, like, has, like, burnt ends is not so gelled this time. Not, like, slicked back necessarily, but, like, parted almost. And the flecks of, like, ash and, like, burnt bits are, like, dispersed to have, like, a salt and pepper look. Very together, which is a stark difference from how he normally looks. He carries his staff is a little bit tall to be used like a cane, but he does kind of like utilize it to like aid in his walk, not so much just carry on like a bum, like a statement sort of kind of. Over one of the cuffs of his overshirt is a very visible shackle that he wears. I think that about covers it.
Okay. On your arm is the form of Moya, who has taken to a traditional chiaroscuring garb, much like Fairus's, but in a little bit more eye-catching colors, bright pinks and reds that kind of complement yours. And there's a little bit of sparkle in the material that she's using. When you guys come in, the club itself is poppin', as the kids say. Hosts are moving to and fro to other tables as that iced coffees are being served, and there is a bar where those who do not wish to deal with hosts are hanging out and milling about. There are roughly 8 tables in the center of the club that have big, plush, comfortable-looking seats in them, where that in some cases, there will be 1, 2, maybe even 3 people seated but there will always be a host there with them. The hosts range from men to women, and are very fancy looking. They are drawing everyone's attention and seem to be flagging down some of the wait staff to help move drinks, get libations, get people other things. It's a very jovial atmosphere, and you can see that everyone is doing their best to enjoy it. Thank you all for taking the time to enjoy our show. If you liked what you heard, why not give us a follow on Twitter for more updates as to when we'll be releasing episodes. You can also give us a like or review on your podcast app of choice. Just a few quick button clicks and you can help us defeat the dreaded algorithm boss. The theme song for this game was Main Theme by Alexander Nakarada, copyright 2019, used under a Creative Commons license. And hey, for making it this far, I saw that cool thing you did, so have some stunt dice.
Honestly, I don't really have anything in mind. My biggest thing is eventually, I really need to spend points soon. And I know everything I'm going to be spending it on is longer than 3 days.
That is completely fair.
Umami's place?
So, the Desert Basilisks...
Pescatarian. Fuck those water animals.
Brendan, who's talking to me right now?
Your brother.
Okay. The way that he was talking just sounded off, so I just wanted to verify.
Yeah, I'm trying to get his voice back in my head, and it's a little hard.
Yeah, and you also said y'all's family and your matriarch, so that's why I was like, our family?
Yeah, it was throwing me off too. That's why I was like, "Who are you? I thought you were supposed to be meeting your brother here." And the southern accent kind of threw me off too. No, that's totally fair. So when he says y'all's family, you are still a part of the your name is Resh, but you're part of the same family that the rest of the crew is a part of.
Gotcha, okay.
Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's one of those, he didn't want to put you in the same family as him because that would be nepotism. You're totally allowed to get promoted to where that you are, but he wants you to do it by your own merit.
Gotcha. Basically the whole yes, you're my sister, but I want you to do it on your own, not by your name.
Exactly.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Sorry, I got a thing of chips.
Oh man, did I make him speechless?
Okay, let me just look up real quick what the actual styles are for Chiaroscuro, because I have them in my head, but I don't want to
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a brothel, probably.
You know what I mean, Cody.
I was gonna say, Brendan, phrasing. Think about what you just said.
All right,
I think that went through everyone's mind, but Cody is the motherfucker who went there, so...
I will never not go there. Oh man, I've got nothing for an instill roll. Yeah, I've got 0 presents. Listen here, bud. I've got 3 questions you can ask any girl to make her fall in love with you. You just gotta buy my book and the audio tape that comes with it.
No, we are not doing pickup artists. Those guys are such assholes.
Just pay 5 payments of $50 for my masterclass.
Well, you're at it. I've got some verve for you.
It's not a pyramid scheme, bro.
Okay. Ellion or Riki, is there anything that you guys would like to do before we open the doors?
Christina, you got anything?
I mean, unless you guys want to know what I'm going to wear, but I figure that's probably better for the actual, whole thing.
I feel like I may have something, but I don't know what it is yet, and I don't have time to think about it. I'm just going to say no. So if you have something, I might be able to think on it more. But if you don't, then I won't worry about it.
I mean, I know I need to go and talk to, I think it was Minami at some point about something, but I have to look back in my notes.
everyone else had their glow up moment where they went and got their needle outfit. Why don't you do it?
Because Ellion already has an outfit for stuff.
Oh, okay.
They have very basic stuff, and they've got like one nice outfit to wear for things already.
I don't have anything in mind particularly, Brendan, unless you have something you want me to interact with.
Not that I can think of, because last session was pretty big on you and Cody going around and just kind of fucking about, like in the best possible way.
Yeah.
So in that case, we are at about an hour on the recording. If you guys want to stand up, stretch your legs, go get something to drink, I'm going to offload, and then we're going to open up the doors of the Cordial crane.
Dope. I got a nice, concise opening speech. Enough that I'm fine with it. I should have written it earlier, but I'm going to go smoke, and we'll be right back. I'll take y'all on my phone with me.
And before we continue, I would like to know, Cody, what do you think that traditional Lookshine garb looks like?
I imagine since Lookshy is very heavily influenced by Japanese culture, it's a fine kimono, like a really nice, shiny, electric blue silk kimono with gold embroidery, and on the back of his kimono is a golden fan outstretched across the shoulders.
So, while that I do like that, and I'm down for you keeping that, I just want you to know for the future that Lookshine, because Devine is a weirdo comparatively to Lookshine, this does make sense. But for the future, Lookshy is a militaristic state. So Lookshy and Finery is like military uniform.
I mean, we could make it a military uniform. Dress blues would look nice.
Okay, yeah. Then let's get a description of, I guess, the military like dress blues. Like it's still gonna have like that kind of like that Japanese flair to it, but it's gonna be more like I want to say it's like it would be closer to like feudal era like fanciness, because like like I said, Lookshines are military like hardcore.
Yeah, like when you said military, my first thought was like the State Alchemist uniform from Full Metal Alchemist. Like kind of contemporary, but not super flashy. Or are you thinking more classical?
I was thinking more classical, but I could kind of see that just maybe a little bit more like, no, you know what? I can totally see that as being their thing. And you know what? If you wanted to go if you would rather go with the kimono, I can just edit this out and we can go with the kimono. Because that also makes sense, because the crime family is super based off of like Japanese Yakuza culture. So
yeah. Yeah, I'd say let's go with the kimono. Because again, like, Devine's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Home of Chiaroscuro's finest company and cold coffee. God damn it. I forgot to put my phone.
Wow.
Run it back.
And you know what? This is Britt's fault, because that was a Facebook notification of her replying to my comment.
Well, maybe you shouldn't comment stupid things.
Alright, from the top.
That was really good.
Thanks. I spent a whole, first half of the session on it.